cool. I'm cool with part two.
Alright, so that recording cut off, so we're on part 2 now. But we were talking about grass and how I had a problem with just one-ofs that win you the game. I think I mentioned Soul Charge, Avarice. I'm not sure what I actually mentioned because I can't remember what we actually said before it cut off.
Yeah, but
But
we're gonna like make this like really short, like really fast, so we're
yeah,
not gonna get this one cut off.
yeah. I mean, this might be 2 or 3 parts, but I mean, this is just our opinion,
Yeah,
unfiltered. Team Starlight unfiltered. Um,
yeah.
but
So if you will like to hear what we're about to discuss, yeah, you just like
essentially,
it's your own decision.
this is
So
just our opinion.
we
This is our opinion on the
yeah
balance, nothing more.
we didn't force you to like stay here for
Yeah,
other parts. So yeah, you're free come free go.
yeah. But um, grass. I'm trying to think what we didn't talk about. Oh, right. My biggest point was I don't know if I got to tell the 60 card Infernoid story in part 1. But basically a recap for if I did tell it. I borrowed my friend's 60 card Infernoid deck, which I hated. And I didn't draw grass the entire day. And I lost every match because I didn't draw grass. Because the deck was just so reliant on grass that if you didn't see it, then it was just such a problem. But other decks like Lightsworns don't really have that problem because you have other cards like Brilliant Fusion or just like your deck's normal engine that can just win even if you don't see grass. But then if you do see grass, it's a 1-card auto win, which
Yeah,
is just not okay in the game. Cards like Emptiness, Avarice, Grass, Soul Charge. Um, in Goat, you brought up Goat format. I don't know if you actually forgot to bring it up before it cut off. But you brought up Goat format where, Change of Heart, Pot of Greed, Delinquent Duo, Heavy, all these
yeah.
cards, all
Basically,
these, yeah,
just basically go format stuff. So yeah,
yeah, like all these huge one-ups. But in Goat format, it was different because everybody had those and you knew everybody had those.
yeah.
But with
So
Grass, it's
you
like,
know, like
yeah,
if you activate something, you already know what's the combo. So yeah,
well, you already know the
you're not
combo. You already know the
nothing.
combo, but you already expect your opponent to have it. Like,
Yeah.
you know,
So
like
only gold format was like the best
because
deck.
everybody played it. Like,
Yeah.
and it's just kind of like how like in 2002 in the first format ever, basically every deck was every match was a mirror match because pretty much everybody played the same deck. With the exception of maybe like
Unlike
2 or 3
now.
cards. Right now,
Yeah.
there's so many decks in the format. Even in the format, but also you can just play Rogue, and you have to
Yeah.
consider it. Like, so there's
Yeah. It
you know
depends on your budget.
right.
So which deck you can afford.
Yeah, but at the same time, that makes Grass more powerful. Like, Grass has kind of been phased out of the meta since Ghost Dash was printed, but at the same time, Grass itself as a card, since there are less 60 card decks in the format, Grass itself is better because you're going to
Yeah.
be playing against nothing but 40s, and then you just play it and you win. Um, and that's not okay. And I know some people are like, this is what I didn't get to say before that I wanted to. There's going to be some people that are like, if you play a Grass mirror match, the card is dead. And that's true, but at the same time, like, uh, in the Grass mirror, what was the point I made before? Now I'm trying to remember. In the Grass mirror, like, you have 3 dead cards, but at the same time, it's like, that's essentially the same thing as a 40 card mirror, except less consistent. Like, you don't have to worry about Grass. You don't have to
Yeah.
worry about Grass in a 40 card mirror, and you don't have to worry about it in a 60 card. Oh, I remember now. My thing was in the mirror match, the card is dead, but let's say I'm playing Windwitch Mad Spectre right now. I just profiled it on the channel, and if my deck list right now is 41 cards.
Yeah.
So if I play against Grass, going first or going second, my opponent is milling at least 19 cards. Now I could make
Yeah.
my deck bigger, hypothetically, to make them mill less, but then I have to make
Yeah.
my deck inherently worse and less consistent just because I don't want to lose to grass. But then against every
Yeah.
deck that's not grass, I would just lose. I would just make my deck horribly inconsistent, which is like just bad. And there are some decks like Magispectors that just don't have enough good cards to support that, to support larger deck sizes.
Exactly.
Like Metal Foes play
Exactly.
a lot of cards, but they don't even play grass. That's a goal. Watching hockey. But they don't play grass, but they play a lot of cards because they can do that because it's Metal Foes, and they have a lot of cards that are just available to them. So,
Yeah.
but not all decks have that luxury. So grass itself is just so one-sided of a card and so incredibly unfair that, in my opinion, even though it didn't, it was nowhere near YCS Pittsburgh top, it's still just so incredibly unfair that, in my opinion, it warranted the hit. And I know a lot of people were like, even will disagree with that because, like I said, it didn't top. To me, that doesn't matter. There's so many other cards that are just unhealthy, whether it topped or not.
Yeah, so I think it's better for me because I'm playing like light one for now. I'm playing 46 cards, so opponent's gonna like mill 14 cards, so it's less for him.
Yeah. So
Sweet.
let's move on to Terratop. Or actually, let's move on to
Okay,
Norden. Let's move on to Norden. I want to save Terratop for last because
okay, okay.
I think Norden's gonna be pretty quick, or at least not as quick as
Yeah,
Terratop, or pretty quicker than Terratop.
yeah,
So Norden, I think we can both agree deserved to be banned. Um,
yeah,
I think we can both kind of get that out of the way. Um, which I don't think anybody should be shocked by that. Even though I played it in Herald, I played it in Dragoonities, which is my favorite deck of all time, and as a Dragoonity player, I wanted Norden to stay, but as a Yu-Gi-Oh player, I wanted to see that card die. That card is not
yeah,
healthy. It's too generic, and I knew that something would eventually break it because of how splashable it is. Um, and although, granted, I wouldn't have guessed that the card that broke it was not Instant Fusion. And that was the card that everybody was worried about the second it got announced. So to me, that's kind of funny. That basically what made it broken was Fusion Substitute instead of Instant Fusion.
yeah,
So to me,
yeah,
that's kind of funny. But like, you know, it's kind of weird because I didn't have a problem with it until I don't think anybody really had a problem with it until Zoo. But at the same time, like, you saw all these FTKs or whatever that were just possible because of Norden. I know some people were saying
yeah,
like, oh, just limit Broad Bull or ban Broad Bull, and I was just like,
yeah.
but
Bad.
that doesn't really do anything. I mean it does something, but it's not really like it hits the
Like
same goal
something
of
big.
making the fusion sub plays not possible. But at the same time, it's like,
Yeah,
okay, they still have an entire extra deck and they still have instant fusion, so I don't think that's a valid argument. Um,
exactly.
yeah. I'm gonna cut this here, just because we're running at like 9 minutes. Um,
Okay.
so I don't want to cut off mid train of thought. But we'll continue this in part 3. Whee!